What's up, Duke fans? Welcome to the Devil's Den podcast. I'm your host, Josh Smith, joined by my co-host, Raul and Shu. Obviously, we missed a game on you, so we're coming back to recap Georgia Tech and FSU wins. A couple of us are under the weather a little bit. Flu's going around. Hope you all are safe. Got me and Shu here a little bit, though. So we're going to kind of chop it up. Already starting. Sorry about that. 2 wins, but fellas, 2 wins. If I told you that we were going to beat Georgia Tech and FSU by a combined total of 10 points, you probably would have a bit of concern. So we're going to kind of get in and talk about that. Obviously, Cayden inserted into the starting lineup. So there's some good things that are happening offensively, some things defensively that I think we can kind of talk about here. But fellas, just give me your kind of overall just global take here of FSU, Georgia Tech, 10-point differential. Concern level. We just did an ACC preview pod where we were pretty bullish on the team still, and maybe you still are, but where are you at right now, January 4th?
Well, for me, I know a lot of people panicked after the Georgia Tech game because we kind of barely escaped with our lives there. A game that we were favored by, what was the spread, 15-16 to start that game. Was it more than that?
It was like 27, man.
It was big.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was 26. It was 14 or 15.
FSU was 16 and a half.
Yeah.
And look, we brushed it off in the Georgia Tech preview, but we've also said it before, like Georgia Tech's played us tough. Sometimes they've just been and in that game, I thought we played decent. I thought they just hit some tough shots. The Reeves guy, what he hit 5 of 7 threes, and some of them like turnaround bunkers. I thought we played good defense and just got, taken out by better offense, for lack of a better term. But the Florida State, again, and we talk about this too, they were going to shoot a bunch of threes. They typically hit 30% of them. Well, in a game that they hit 50% of them, you're going to be in trouble. And we're lucky to even have won that game. And most Duke teams, a team that hits 14% or 14 threes on 50% clip, you're probably going to lose that game. So overall, I'm not as down as a lot of people are about the way that the ugliness of the 2 wins. To me, it's just right now, win.
Sure. There's perspective, right? Like we talked about 2015 a lot. I think this team kind of has a lot of similarities. Is that team dropped back-to-back like games in January where they lost, giving up this type of defensive performance. So there is something to say. Maybe those teams are a little bit better, but maybe that's even to be debated too. But I think there's value in at least still winning here. But Raul, for you, man, concern level, or at a certain point, like you got to get back from break. Like I know that's happening here, but where are you at with it now?
Yeah, I don't think I was very concerned after the Texas Tech game because I thought, okay, we didn't play great defense against Lipscomb, still kind of hit our Ken Palm predicted cover there, if not the Vegas cover. Texas Tech, it's like you were up 17. It sucks to blow a lead that big, but it's still like, okay, you got up 17 on a good team. But then the fact that then you squeak out these wins against some of the bottom of the ACC, it's becoming a little bit more of a pattern maybe, where it's like, okay, you could look at it as a blip if it's 2 games, but if it's 4 games in a row where really the defense has just not been able to contain the other team. And some of it is like 3-point variance. I kind of want to point that out with these last 2 games, right? So Georgia Tech shot really well from 3. FSU shot really well from 3. We were kind of due a little regression there. If you look on the season, we're still, I think, like top, let me pull it up here, but we are still top 55 in 3-point percentage. But before these 2 games, 3-point percentage allowed, sorry. But before these 2 games, we were like top 20 or something, and we were allowing like 26%. 20. That's not sustainable, obviously. So you are going to have some hot shooting games eventually. What worries me more, though, is the 2-point defense is just cratered. For whatever reason, we can kind of dissect that. So I think there needs to be some adjustments made, and it seems like right now maybe Shire is just prioritizing getting the offense a little bit more on track, because at the beginning of the year, the defense was really strong, but we weren't scoring a ton. In some games it would be a little bit of a slog, right? We could point to the Florida game where we put up 67 points. Michigan State, we put up 66 points. And so those were really kind of defensive grind fests. Lately, the tempo's picked up a lot, and our offense has picked up a lot. We've hit 80 points in every one of these games. And like, if you look at like what the Ken Pom predicted score was going into those games, we're hitting the offensive mark. It's just that we're allowing 20 more points than we're supposed to. So we got to find a solution for that. And obviously, since we saw the team play great defense at the beginning of the year, you kind of know the solution is in there somewhere, right? That's the way
I mean, we've been tinkering with the lineups, right? And so it's like, we can kind of jump around a little bit from topics here, but we've been tinkering with lineups. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, you had Dame in there starting with Caleb and Slim. You had Nick coming in. Now we're going with Cayden a little bit. So they're trying to find kind of like how to maximize this team. And I think that's probably the most interesting conversation right now is when you think about like, well, how do you get the best version of this? Because something that's going on with the defense is like teams are really picking on Cam, y'all. Like they're like, hey, you want to switch everything? You want to switch everything and drop Pat? Where we're gonna put Cam in ball screens and we're gonna torch him on the perimeter. And he's getting ate up out there a little bit. And it's not just him. Like we cannot contain dribble penetration right now. Some teams are getting like some hot threes, but they're walking in and stepping into a lot of threes too, y'all. Like they're catching and shooting a lot of open ones. The dribble penetration is a concern for me. Like against FSU, that guard got switched on to Pat and just went in there and just got a nasty yam. Cam has gotten cooked a little bit out there on the perimeter, and I think John is just trying to kind of tinker and figure out like, okay, does Cayden unlock us enough offensively? But at a certain point, you either have to change schematically what you're doing defensively, or you're going to maybe have to move off the Cam Pat pairing a little bit. And either you put Dame at the 4, which I wouldn't mind seeing that a little bit, or Malik, you put him out there. If Dame's going to shoot the way he's been shooting, that kind of, I'm trying to get us to the 2015, right? I'm trying to Winslow at the 4, unlock that team a little bit, right? There's a lot of similarities for me in that, but I don't know, kind of where are y'all at in terms of just some of the lineup kind of, carousel that we've had here?
Yeah, I mean, John talked about it I think it was the Georgia Tech post game. He also mentioned, just the nature of guys seeing the spread. It's 27. You think we got to go out here and win this game by 30, and maybe you just don't play to that, for whatever reason. But going back to the lineup, I mean, we haven't really found anything in certain games. We've been able to find some lineups that work, but then something happens and we have to switch things around, or, Nick's been banged up. I know John's talked about his ankle problems, Dame, if he can continue, like you said, to give us, he can
give you a 4. It's like a 4 or 5 or a 0 or 5. It feels like right now, right? And
I'm not expecting him to hit 4 threes a game, but he's going to get 4 or 5 good, clean looks the way we move the ball around. So if he can hit 2, maybe 3 of those,
and if he catches any of those cuts, bro, like even this game, man, he's 4 or 5 or whatever it is from 3, but two of those, like Cam hit him on 1. I get they called that Cam stepped out of bounds, but that's a dunk. That's a dunk right there. Pat or Malik hit him on another one where he was streaking baseline, and just those are easy points, man. Those are easy points.
Yeah. So I think to me, I like the, I like putting Cayden into the starting lineup. I think if you're going to drop maybe Pat out and play Cam at the 5, I like Malik at the 4 a little bit more with those guys, with Cayden and Foster and Evans.
Yeah. My favorite lineup that we had that in the FSU game was the Slim, Foster, Dame, Malik, Cam. They were just wreaking havoc out there. They were moving the ball. I don't know what the answer is here, Raul. Kind of where you at in terms of, do you see a clear kind of lineup path here, or your best 5 guys, or is it still in the muck?
Yeah, it's really hard to make a decision there because we're talking about Cam and Pat together being a little bit of a defensive problem. If we have Cayden out there, or if we have Sar out there less, or whatever, right? Like if the other guys around them are a little bit less defensively oriented, it's hard to have the 2 big guys. However, on the season, with both Cam and Pat on the floor, we're plus 34. With Cam on and Pat off, we're plus 33. with Pat on and Cam off were plus 31, with both off were predictably terrible. But the point is, like, clearly there is something with Cam and Pat together that's working, but just maybe it's just not working in this context with Cayden playing a lot more.
You're asking Pat to cover a lot more at that point, right? Because if you're doing Foster at the point of attack, Foster's been a really good defender for us at the point of attack, like leading the defense there. Cayden is a freshman, right? He's not going to do that. So if you're asking Pat to really just eat everything like a Lively or a Comment, come on, that's a tall ask, dude. He's not that, right? Like, that's just not who he is.
Absolutely. I mean, and if you look at over the last 4 games, what's really changed with the minute distribution, it really is Cayden playing a lot more. He's been playing around 24, 25 minutes a game. He had some games before that stretch where he was like down 12, 9 minutes. So, you know, I really do think there has to be a little bit of causal connection there between him and, you know, him playing and the slippage in defense, but I don't want to blame it all on him. I think it's just like, oh, you get one less like lockdown perimeter defender out there, and then you just have, and you're still switching, and then you just have too much on Pat, like you're saying. So I don't know. There's some other options we could go to as well, like in terms of like on-off stuff. Like, I'd be interested. Now, this is kind of crazy because Isaiah's playing so well, but I'd be interested in just seeing a little bit of Cayden, Caleb, Sar, Malik, and Cam. Just like to have 2 really good defenders out there, and then you have like a real point guard out there. Now, the question is, like, would that put too much scoring responsibility on Cam, right? He already has a lot. And do you really want to take Isaiah off the floor when he's been so, like, he's really coming around?
That is the next talking point, right? Like, we're starting to get to that. So yeah, it's tough, man. There's not a clear, like, there's not like an easy thing here, right? There's not like Joel Berry gets injured and you put Kendall Marshall in and things take off. Like, there's not that. Like, it doesn't feel like there's that. And I don't know how you have to take a lot of size off if you're just taking Nick and Dame off completely, right? And kind of playing 3 guards, like, that's going to hurt you a little bit. Do you go into some kind of, I don't know, like, if you look at, 2010 or 2015, the way they kind of started playing defense a little bit, do you get into something like that if you're going to play both the bit? I don't know. It's not an easy, there's not like an easy button. I don't know that you can push.
Or do you play like zone full time? I feel like that feels like a concession, because
it does feel like a desperation. It does.
In 2018, it worked, right? But that was really the only option that team had. They weren't stopping anybody. And also Carter, like, I think Pat's been a good rim protector, but Carter was like at a different level of rim protection than Pat was. And he was able to just kind of.
And you're playing Bagley, who is like, and I hate, no offense, but he might be the like least defensive IQ guy that we've ever had in our program. Had in our program. Like, that's,
Cam maybe struggles one-on-one in those ISO situations, but he puts in effort, and
team defense he still goes
and some blocks and stuff. So.
Right, like team defense where he needs to slide and rotate. Is that Bagley just has not ever been coached or had any sort of. He still doesn't really,
right.
It's not there.
I also think the other difference is we've seen this Duke team play really great defense, not in zone, right? That team was giving up 90 from the start of the season, and every game was a struggle to win because they were having to score 95 to win, right? So,
I mean, maybe it is just if you swap Dame for Cayden, the defense is going to crater, right? Like, maybe it's just that simple a little bit. And it's like, okay, but if you're trying to maximize, because there's times, and Dame was great against Florida State, and like, we needed every bit of it, and he was that dude, and like, glad you were that guy. But there were times though, like earlier on, where it's like, dude, he's just not able to help you offensively, right? It's such a void. But if you're going to go Cayden, it's like, okay, but you can't just have the defense crater. You can't be giving up 80 points to Florida State and Georgia Tech, man. You can't do that. That's not going to lie. You got Louisville coming up. We're going to talk about that too. But like, if you're giving up like 79 and 87 and there, like, Louisville might drop 100 on you if you're not careful. Like, seriously. And we're supposed to be this defensive-minded team. I don't know where we're at with that yet. I mean, there's still like moments where it's awesome in games. Like Malik had some moments that was just incredible. Dame had some moments that were incredible. Pat had moments that were incredible, like some blocks that he was having at the rim, like were just massive, like no calls too, like just like. But then there's something collectively where it's like we can't get guys out of the paint. When we're in a half court set, the switching is just teams are picking on it. And it started with Lipscomb, like you mentioned, Raul. Like teams are starting to kind of figure out how to manipulate it and get to what they want. And then we're just in this like, it's almost like watching, 7 to 10 years ago, some of those Duke defense that just get in that scramble mode where it's like you can't keep anyone out of your paint, bro. And if you can't keep anyone out of your paint, it's going to be tough defensively. Like it's just going to be tough. I don't know.
I think there's a reason that Sarr, for all he doesn't kind of fit the eye test as like this amazing player so far this year. He has the highest on-off on the entire team, and it's all on defense, right? His impact is entirely on defense. So it's like, do you take that off, this guy who's plus 79 when everybody else is like plus 30 something, right? Do you really take that off the floor to juice the offense a little bit? Or is there a way to like have Cayden, Caleb, and Sarr out there is kind of what I'm getting at. I just don't. There's not really a clear path to that though, unless you go small.
Dominate at the 4, right? And that pushes Cam. But then it's like, okay,
then you're really small. Like,
yeah, you can bring Malik and Pat and Nick, I guess, off the bench and maybe it's not about the starting, right? Maybe it's not about like, well, how do we get to a starting lineup? But maybe it's about like, hey, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep trying to put some stuff in here. But like first guy off the bench is Dame, and it's going to be Pat or Cam moving out and sliding down or something of that nature, right? And then we'll get you back in and we'll bring Malik in with you, and then we'll get going, and we'll just kind of that's what teams do, right? Like that's how this works a little bit. But like in terms of starting, maybe it's just like, hey, here's our first TV timeout, guys. Right? Y'all go in, try to set the tone offensively. Maybe we get a kill shot in. If we start getting beat, if we need to do something, Dame, you're in at the 4, Cam, you're sliding down. Let's figure this out. Let's get into something else.
Speaking of which, when was our last kill shot? Was it Lipscomb?
We almost had one against Florida State, but I think they called Dame's 2 of 3, and I think that only made it. I know that made it a 9-point lead, but I think it was tied. Was it tied? I don't know, man. I feel like we almost had one against Florida State.
We definitely had one to open up the Lipscomb game. I know that.
And gave 2 away, and 2 of them in that game. I think we had 2 of them in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
that
was concerning, man. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that was the thing about these games. Like, I guess to me, like, at some point in the Georgia Tech game, I felt like we were just gonna go on some kind of little run and get some separation. We never really did,
Yeah.
Well, I think it's hard to. I think kill shots, because our kill shots early in the year were built off of defense. It seemed like, you know what I mean. It's really kind of hard to get kill shots. Like even if you get hot on offense, if you're just giving up, 60% in the paint over and over, or giving up 55% from 3, it's gonna be hard to have a 10-0 run.
Yeah, and Duke is running to they've ran into a few buzzsaws. Like some of the shots that their teams are hitting are just you're turning guys that like can't touch net almost in like a 10-foot rim that are just getting like Michael Jordan up and unders to go and like kick out flare outs. Dudes are just hitting threes in transition that's not who they really are. Duke brings that out a little bit. But I always say though too, like a lot of it goes back to you play your first 10, 12 minutes of the game and you let these dudes get open looks and you let them kind of start to feel themselves a little bit, then yeah, man, they're going to get superhuman. We see it every single year. Like that, this just happens.
The other thing I wanted to point out too is like the margins in these games. Well, especially the Georgia Tech game, actually, I should just focus on that one, I guess. But that easily, even giving up 79 points, still could have been a 20-point win. They left a lot of points on the line, missed a lot of threes. Duke did. Also, just like missed a lot of stuff near the basket too. Duke, I think, rebounded like 55% of their misses or something incredible.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what kept Duke in the game, was going to the line a lot, even though left 11 points there, and then grabbing a ton of offensive rebounds. But realistically, this could have been 100 to 79, right? And then do you feel better about that? Maybe you do, because you're like, well, the defense slipped a little bit, but hey, we put up 100. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, and that is something. The free throws we haven't really talked about that. I mean, in the 2 games prior, right? I think I had it like 64% across 2 games, and then you're 23 of 25 against FSU. I think too, I kind of hammered a little bit on the defense, and it's like Cam's being asked to do a ton right now, and like this dude is like what he's doing scoring wise, like Shu, you mentioned I think back in August that like Tyler Hansborough was a good comp. Watching that Florida State game, bro, it was like watching Psycho T out there. And I hate to say that, but dude, he was getting the little like catches. There's a triple team. He's just giving you the little head fake bunny coming up and into you.
And he did so much in that FSU game in the first half, especially when Duke was down kind of big to like bring us back. Like
in that game too, man.
Yeah, a lot of great passes. Like he only scores 17, but
we're asking him to do a ton, man. I know. And it's hard to like in my head to keep saying like, hey, I need you to also do that defensively. Because that's kind of what Coop was for us. We weren't asking Coop to do this though offensively. No, he had some monster. Like Cam might never score 40, but Coop didn't really have to like just hold it together in that way, right? Like he didn't have to do that. Cam literally has to like we get down by like 8-9, and it's like Cam's just gonna have to go get the ball and figure it out and do something here, man.
Save us, right?
And save us here in a way that I never felt like Coop had to do that.
Well, that was the odd thing is like, and maybe it is just like a bit of a wall for him. I felt like he was really good on switches earlier in the year. I know. Really until that Lipscomb game, honestly. Like he was holding up fairly well against guards. And I don't know, maybe there was some more like ability to funnel it towards the rim protector or something like that I'm not seeing. But for me, it's just he's getting blown by more easily. So maybe it is just like a little bit of, fatigue. I don't know.
Or I know we keep repeating ourselves here a little bit, but I don't underestimate the Dame Sar impact, man, of like just having a guy that's digging down with that wingspan that's able to just kind of like dig in and help you out. Whereas if you bring Cayden or somebody else in, they're not able to offer that for you, right? And so I don't think you can separate them out entirely, where it's just like I don't think Cam just all of a sudden is a terrible defender.
No.
It's looking like that a little bit. He's getting picked on a little bit, but I feel like that can be schematic too. Like you don't have to switch everything. Not in college. Like you don't have to switch everything here. You can sag, you can drop, you can kind of figure this out because Duke went from basically being like the number 1 or number 2 effective field goal percentage defense in the country to like the 20th. And that's a massive drop across like just a small sample. Like if you have a few, like a 2, 3, 4 game sample to drop 18 spots on like a pre-built metric system, that means things have went bad like pretty quickly.
Also 2-point defense has dropped from like I think it was like 2nd in the country or something like right after Michigan, right? 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, it was
now
first
14th.
Battling. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, now it's 14th, right? In the span of like 4 games, so it's I feel like most of that is coming at the rim.
Yeah, from guards. I mean, they're just
primarily guards.
Here, and it's like when you watch it, it's like I don't know if it's just Cayden or just Caleb or just Slim or whatever, but it's just consistently just kind of happening. A lot of it is in transition too, which has been something even back when we were.
Even at the beginning of the year, we were talking about the transition defense needing to tighten up.
I don't know. I mean, Shu, do you have a favorite lineup here? Like, is there a button that you're pushing that says if you're John Shire heading to Louisville on Tuesday, are you mashing anything or are you just kind of staying put?
Oh man, that's going to be tough. I mean, I'm keeping Foster in there. Slim's been playing great the last couple of games. It's keeping Cayden or putting Dame back in. I mean, we don't want to get off to a slow start in the we've been doing that. I don't want to fall behind and play behind the entire game.
I also don't think now that you put Cayden in there
that you take him out.
I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like you take him back out at this. I don't know. You just have to lean into that if that's what you're going to do, right? Like
I thought the Georgia Tech game. He hits a big basket down the stretch. So it was kind of a separator.
I thought it was good against Florida State too. Didn't shoot a bunch, but
didn't shoot a bunch, but had 6, 7 assists. So yeah, I mean,
it's fine.
yeah, I mean, Dame played great again against Florida State too, and he's shown us in those bursts, that he can have these stretches. I just want to see it consistently. I think maybe just keep it the same. If anything, I might swap. It's hard to say because I love Pat, but I might swap Malik in for Pat. Just
more switchability there.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. You definitely lose rim protection and maybe a little bit of rebounding if you, and foul drawing too, if you have Malik in there instead of Pat, right? But you, in theory, can just keep your switching defense a little bit more effectively, right? And Malik kind of
vocal guy too, man.
Yep.
Like he can anchor a 5. I think like he's the type of vocal dude that like is a rare freshman that you could probably do that with.
Yeah, and just like I think also if you're missing Dame's like ability to like dig in and kind of harass on the perimeter, putting Malik in there kind of maybe gives you the best of both worlds, where it's like he's a kind of a big man, but he can also like really play that Dame role of just harassing the ball handler. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he looked good. I mean, I think he only played like 14 or 15 minutes or so, which was kind of weird, but
and of course we've talked about how Malik's been, stupidly efficient on offense on the year overall. You're not going to.
And he just saves so many possessions, man. Like there's a few where he's just like flailing around, tapping it around. Then I think he gets back up and gets the tap in off of Cayden missing the 3. Mm-hmm. He had one where he got the ball, but then he threw it back and ended up being.
And then they ended up getting a 3. Yeah, I mean, it was like the craziest sequence that we.
It was a kind of a trash sequence, but it's like outside of that, though, man, he does make so many. The high lows were phenomenal, man. Like I think we attempted 5 against FSU, and like 4 of them resulted in a bucket. Like that was pretty cool. Well, I like that stuff a little bit, but yeah, there's we got to find that way. I feel like to get it to pop a little bit more. It doesn't really help when you're looking around the country a little bit, and a lot of other teams are still just juggernaut. They haven't hit a wall. Yep. Maybe there's a thing there. It was nice that SMU just throttled Carolina. That helped a little bit. Shouts to
they're coming in town next week.
Yeah,
Boopy will be in Durham on Saturday, I think. That's it.
And you're gonna have to. That's the concern, right? Because it's not.
That's another guard, right? That's if
Mikael Brown plays. I don't know if he is or if he isn't. But if you're going up against Mikael Brown and then Boopy Miller back to back, and like this is what our like ball screen point of attack defense is looking like right now, we're in trouble.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Like you're in trouble. It's gonna be a tough week ahead.
Yeah, that's a big week, and then after that you go West Coast. At Cal at Stanford, so
and those aren't guaranteed wins.
No, and I remember like reading somewhere that last year, I think all the teams that had the Cal Stanford back to back on the West Coast there, like that actually went out to play them,
dropped one of the 2 or something.
I don't think either any of those 8 teams that played both of them won both games.
Swept it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's what you're looking at here a little bit.
You want to at least go 2-1 over over these next 4 games. You want to go 3-1, I think, right? I mean, if you really want your like 2 seed, 1 seed chances, 2-2 is really the worst.
2-2 would be. And it would depend on, like, let's say you lost to Louisville, you beat SMU, you lost to Cal, and then you beat Stanford.
Yeah, that's okay. I think
that's still like you don't love it.
Ideal. It's not great for our 16-3 or 15-3 prediction or 16-2 or whatever. But
yeah, but it's like okay, like if that's what happens, and then you're still hoping to though figure it out. Right. Like if you're still just trying to get there, but then you're hoping to kind of run off a streak here. 3-1, I think still puts you right there.
Oh, that's fine.
You're right there. Like,
especially if the one loss is not Louisville in a way, like that would almost be better. Like being able to win at Louisville, and
if you want to
like you drop Cal or something,
Cal or Stanford or one of those, and then it's like, okay, cool. Like that's fine. Like you're right there. I do think there is concern though of like, hey, there's a lot of other teams that are just pushing here. I really hope that we don't get to a space where we come back to that Texas Tech game and be like, man, you were up 17 in the second half, and like there's your 1 seed right there,
Yeah.
man. Like, whatever. It's early.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're at. If the season ended today, we'd be a 2 seed. You know, whereas like if we had won that Texas Tech game, we'd be saying if the season ended today, we'd be a 1 seed despite squeaking out these other games, right? So, you know,
yeah, and
if we're like 7th in the net, 9th in Ken Palm.
But yeah, that's where we're at. 7th in the net. That's a 2 seed, right? That's what it is. But you know, you have plenty of opportunity here, and we've seen that this team can play elite offense and elite defense. Now it's about, can you get that to happen together? And if not, how do you sort of like tease it apart to get the best version of both of those things? It's not an easy task.
So we kind of skipped over our first like talking point in the outline, and I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think of like, has Isaiah been unlocked on some level? I know it's only 2 games, but actually 3 of his last 4 games, he's been really good. You know, he had 16 points against Lipscomb. Then he has that dud game versus Texas Tech, but then he has 2 great games here where he's averaging like 23 points per game over his last few, hitting 38% from 3 on like high volume. I don't know. Is there something about
I don't know if I would
the lineup change, or
I think he's just being more aggressive. It's a mental thing, aggression on his part. I mean, he's running the same actions that he has been the entire year, but now he's being, you know, the last couple of times he's taken it to the hoop, he's went in to score and not look to throw that, you know, to the ceiling lob or anything. More aggressive with his 3-point shots, taking a lot more. So I think it's just a mental change up for him, and we need that from him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see, you know, a lot of times he's still, and this is not, I mean, a knock, right? This kid's great. But he's still a little bit like, when I'm watching him, like he lets the 3 unlock everything else for him. And I'd like to see a little bit of like, hey man, what if you caught the ball and went in there and yammed one without having to hit a 3 first? Right? Like what if you just started doing that a little bit too, where it feels like some of the games where he's really unlocks the 2 is like after he's already cooking a little bit. And I'd like to see him just like, hey man, you can be aggressive whenever. Like you don't have to have hit 2 threes to like all of a sudden have a green light to go to the rack, bro. Like you can get in there. Like you can go now if you want. I'd like to see him be more of that. Personally, a little bit like him and Foster are the guys that I'm looking at. Like, hey, if we're gonna put Cayden up here to handle like the initiation stuff, like Foster, for you to have only shot 1 more 3 than Dame is like, whoa, bro. You're like a 45% 3-point shooter right now, dude. Like, fire him up, get him up. He looked great in transition. He was getting to the rack. He was getting into the lane. He was finishing. Yeah, like, let's go.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Let's go.
You know, when we were struggling to have that second scoring option, I mean, I didn't know if this would be considered a hot take, but I thought Caleb as the junior should, you know, try to fill that, like at least, you know, not force it, but be a little bit more aggressive.
See Tyrese Proctor, see Jeremy Roach, see all these other guys, right? They slide down a spot, and it's like, okay, now unlock yourself scoring wise, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, if you look over his last 3 games, he's basically he's on fire, right? From 3, like 8 of 15, 53%, 6 assists to 2 turnovers. You know, he's still not shooting free throws well, but that's just kind of what he does, I guess. 11 points per game. Like, you know, you think like if you could just get that 3-point volume up, he could be averaging more in that Proctor range in terms of like, especially Proctor towards the end of the year when he was kind of consistently putting up 14, 15 a game, right? But yeah, I don't know.
I think Caleb's a better like on ball shooter than Tyrese was, to be honest with you, man. Like I think Caleb, like he's got that little like hezzy or that little like sidestep, pull back. Like he's got that there.
Yeah,
he's got
he doesn't like move as much off the ball as Tyrese did. Like Tyrese would fly off multiple screens, but
nowhere near. It doesn't catch as good either. Tyrese was always able to like relocate. But if you have the on ball stuff too, that does allow you to get into some pick and roll stuff where he's pulled it back and been able to hit threes. Now it's about, okay, if you are going to lean into the offense, let's encourage these guys to give you a bit more.
I did want to say about Isaiah, he has gone to the line a pretty good amount recently, in terms of like, if we're talking about aggression, I know all that's not like, shooting fouls or whatever, but 13 of 13 in these last couple games. So that's like 6.5 free throws a game. He's done a lot of things well, actually, just kind of looking at it here. But to your point, 21 3-point attempts, only 6 2-point attempts in the last couple of games. So, that's maybe you want that ratio to. Yeah, I do like that. I like that he's giving up 10 threes, but I also want him to take more twos, if that makes any sense.
Or at least drive, right? And be
exactly
right there. But I mean, like you said, I mean, that's true. I was just looking at the split. So, I mean, he's taking like he's drawing over 2 fouls more in conference than he has. Now we've played 2 games or whatever. But that's still a good sign of like, hey, go, bro. Like, go. Go. Just get this thing going a little bit. Because if you are going to run Cayden, then it's like, all right, you don't have to do everything off of like big to big passes and cuts, and you can get a little bit more creative. You can simplify a little bit too with that and just do some high ball screen stuff.
He had a nice cut versus FSU, didn't he? Was that like the second half maybe? That he had a dunk off of like a Cam pass.
Cam hit him and he came in a nice little dunk. Nice stuff, man.
Like to see more of that, like leverage your shooting to get back cuts and stuff.
To get to slip them. Yeah. But yeah, I know we kind of danced around these games a little bit, fellas, but I mean, I feel like we should kind of preview Louisville. I mean, this is going to be a big one coming up. I mentioned Mikael Brown. I don't really know. I haven't followed them a ton, but he hasn't played since the last time he played was December 13th against Memphis. So he's missed 1, 2, 3, 4 games. I haven't seen or heard anything about what his status is going to be. Louisville has dropped 2 of those 4 that he's missed. So
yeah. He hasn't shot well, but he's really important for their like dribble penetration and just running the offense.
Watch what they do, because they want to shoot a ton of threes and they assist on like a ton of their shots, right?
Yeah, and he has a really high assist percentage, and
there you go. Yeah. So that's a big thing. I don't know about, what that's going to, it's hard to really preview them, I guess, if you really am not sure on like his status here a little bit. I'm sure that as Duke, you kind of expect him to probably just pop in here and play. Now I could say that and he could be out for the season. I really don't know what his status is here, but fellas, is this a must win for you? It can't be a must win, but like if he doesn't play, does that become a must win for you?
I mean, we're going to play him again. We're obviously going to get him at home, but if
he's not playing, man, you got to take this one, right? Like,
I think if you want your 1 seed, you want hopes of a 1 seed. I think you have to treat this as a must win.
Yeah, because I was talking to you earlier, Josh. It's getting tough out there when you try to imagine Duke getting a 1 seed, right? Like, yes, they have a great resume so far, but you got UConn rising, who would be like, if they keep it up, they might get the 1 in the East. You've got like Vanderbilt looking strong.
There's 4 undefeated teams, right? Yeah. Like there's
Michigan, obviously, Arizona,
Iowa State. I mean,
just so there's so many teams at the
Purdue,
at the top of the net and KenPom that are just really strong, right? Like,
and here comes BYU and Houston. They're coming up there with you too, right? So it's
How many times did we say that this year it's like, okay, Duke doesn't have to be as much of a juggernaut as last year because the field's going to be weaker, right? Well, you're literally sitting here with 7 teams at plus 30, and you got 1 at plus 39 on KenPom. If anything, it's stronger.
Yeah.
And this is we're not even
Duke was the plus 39, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like they're not even in the 30s. So it's like, the gap between you and Michigan is like Michigan might be favored by like 8 on a neutral right now. And it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see what KenPom has that at. But
I'll look and tell you.
He's got it as 8. Yeah, he's got it as 8.
He's got it as 8 now. Wow.
477 as 8. I didn't know that when I looked. I said 8, but 84.
7. That's math. 7,
Is
right?
it 7?
4.
Oh, yeah, 84, 7. Yeah, 7. Okay, yeah. Either way, still
That's
7
still
is
like,
like
I mean, it
Yeah.
started as what,
Duke was the
3
number
and
one
it went to
ping-pong team
4.
like 3 weeks ago. Like
Yep.
it wasn't that long ago.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it started as like 3, then it went to 4, and now it's at 7.
Yeah.
I mean, if we just look at the plus 30 teams from last year, you had 6, and that was at the end of the season, right? We're only in January, and you've already got 7. So what's it going to look like by, because typically you get teams tend to rise, the best teams tend to rise on KenPom net ratings as the season goes on, right? It's hard to be plus 39 like Michigan is this early because, KenPom typically starts teams like plus 25 or something if he thinks they're going to be good.
Yeah.
So, I think this is the new status quo, right? With like the transfer portal, NIL, all that stuff. I just don't really see it changing. Like, yes, the 5th year went away, but is a 4th-year player, how much difference does that make? I just wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to look and see like if there was any update on Mikael Brown, but I'm not seeing any.
I mean, I think the point comes back to like if Louisville shoots from 3 as well as these last 2 teams have against Duke, and if we don't contain them in transition, that's going to be tough. Regardless of whether Brown is playing or not, right? Certainly be easier without Brown, I would think, but you might have to junk it up on someone.
Yeah, they got another guy injured too. The prior guy, right? He's a senior as well.
Yeah.
He hasn't played in a couple games too. So I don't know, man. I feel like if they're banged up, this is a great opportunity to kind of get right and get the confidence back of like, oh, we just beat a really good team on the road again. I like to take advantage of that. I know KenPom has it as an 82-81 loss here. I don't know, man. I mean, without Mikael, I just feel like you got to figure out a way to get that done. They lost threatening without him. So
they lost to Arkansas, who we beat. They lost by 9 in that one. We beat Arkansas by 9. Yeah, exactly. They lost to Tennessee by like almost 20.
Yeah.
And we beat Tennessee at Tennessee, right? So, I mean, I know you can't do the transitive property here of like, well, if Duke beat this team, then that means they're, but because it's all about matchups. But to me, it's like, man, we've been playing like these games in the 70s or even like 80s in tempo, right? Like really fast games lately. I think we might have to slow this one down because Louisville wants to play fast, right? They're doing like 72 possessions adjusted tempo. If you're just letting them fly up and down the floor and take threes at home, to me, that's just playing into their hand.
Unless they don't play. If you got 2 guys in your rotation that aren't playing, maybe we do, right? Because how deep can they be? Like, I mean, if
maybe they tire it out. I guess,
and you take Kashawn out, and it's like, okay, we're clearly not that great defensively right now. Maybe we are just going to try to like Cayden track meet slim, take every transition 3 you see. Like, I don't know. I do kind of agree with you.
Just flying down the floor, getting those open court layups too.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you though. Like, if Mikael's not there, then you could really like slow those guys down, and kind of junk this thing up, and maybe you just walk out of there with like a 78-70 win or something like that. Like, you could do that too, maybe. Without those 2 playing, man, it really feels like to me there's a big opportunity for Duke. And I don't know, I expect to win that if he's not playing. I don't know, even with the way we're playing. If Mikael's playing, that's a different game. But if he's not, man, I feel like you got to go in there and you got to find a way. You just got to find a way. They're not that good. They're not that scary, even with him. So I don't know. That's where I'm at. But
I'm worried about them coming off. I'm worried about them coming off a loss, being
now.
Knowing that they need this one, and
they just did that's just the California trip, man. The Cal Stanford, you got to take a loss, right? No voodoo. Come on now.
Well, I don't know, man. I hope that
if this Duke -1, I'm laying big money. Trust me. If Mikel's not playing and it's Duke -1, I'm laying big money.
I would say like I just hope that if we are gonna make some significant adjustments, please do it like, before the game or quickly into the game and not just like, oh, Duke lost by 20. Now we got to change the entire lineup or whatever, right? Like, don't make it a response to a bad loss. Make it like, do it proactively, right?
Yeah,
like if you're down like 10-1 or something, then yank Pat out or whatever you need to do, right? But
yeah, I mean, that would be a major burn. I mean, we've seen McNeely before. We know what he's about. Like, I just don't think they're that scary, man. Like, I don't see, like, you're looking through the roster, I'm looking at what they do. And again, I'm saying all of this with the assumption that those two guys aren't playing. Right. And so you take those two guys out, and to me, you went from a top 5 to 10 team to like top 30, 40, 50 team, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like,
I guess the way I look,
like,
we took 2 guys out of Texas Tech's lineup and still gave up 17 points. And
that's true. I mean, you could find a way. But you're also kind of hoping too that, like, all right, well, did we learn something from that? And that's not with this team that we have. I don't know. Cayden went and started in that. I don't know. Yeah.
To me, they've got the 2 shooters that like really have gotten up threes and volley them in with accuracy, right? So it was Conwell and McNeely.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's predicated on Mikel and other guys being able to spray out to them, man.
Exactly.
So it's like if they're not playing,
I mean, Mikel has
that out.
Mikel is at 32.6 assist rate. That's top 60 in the country. So that would make a big difference. You don't have anybody else that's like assisting like that besides Khalifa, who's a big man, right? And doesn't necessarily play heavy minutes at all, right? He has a high assist rate, but I'm not counting that. But other than, so really Mikel's been the guy driving the offense. Just kind of like what we saw against Michigan State, with Fears, right? Like everything had to run through him. He had a really high assist rate. If you can kind of limit that in some way. Now we didn't limit Fears assist, but we limited his scoring. So we don't have to limit it if he's not playing, obviously. So,
and maybe it's a good time to go on the road and play these guys, right? Like if you're not in the best space and like maybe they have a few guys down, and it's like, all right, you can find a way to come out there with the win. On Selection Sunday, it's just going to look like a win, So, opportunity there, I guess. But
also, I think sometimes like playing a bigger opponent when you're like in this slump can actually kind of be good. Because it's like maybe locks you in a little bit more. I don't know. I'm just looking for a silver lining here.
You kind of get, you lock back in. They can't be happy with this, right? Like they can't be like, oh,
Shire's got to be pissed, right? Like, it probably like chased him to give up like even 70, right? And he's giving up, this team's giving up 80 every game.
Yeah, I mean the offense is getting there. We saw it a little bit last year, different teams, but you're hoping to figure out a little bit more of a balance here, and not to keep slipping a little bit. But fellas, if you don't got anything, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up out of here. So obviously we'll kind of come back after the Louisville game. Maybe we'll come back that night and do a little quick one. I don't know. If not, we'll come in Wednesday, I'm sure, and talk a little bit about that one, chop that up. We're going to get John Watson to come in too. We want to talk about the Darren Rippey commitment. We're going to talk a little Jordan Smith Jr., the class overall as a whole. And so we'll have a little recruiting kind of update kind of coming in for you as well. But in the meantime, you rate, review, subscribe. You can email us, TheDevilsDen.pod@gmail.com. You can find us on X/Twitter @DevilsDenPod247. Keep the faces strong and the verb high. Go Duke.